Jake said, the cops work for me. They cuffed him in his bathrobe. Then he lost his house over it. The empty slab of concrete where my $60,000 truck used to be was the most terrifying thing I had ever seen. It was 7:30 a.m. on a Monday morning. The sun was just starting to burn off the fog, casting long, mocking shadows across the driveway. I stood on my front porch, blinking, wondering if I was still asleep. Maybe I parked it in the garage. No, it didn't fit in the garage. Maybe I left it at work. No, I drove it home yesterday. I walked down the steps, my slippers crunching on the gravel. I touched the oil stain on the driveway where the rear differential usually sat. It was real. The truck was gone. Panic, cold and sharp, started to claw at my throat. It wasn't just a vehicle, it was a brand new, Velocity blue Ford F-250 Platinum. I had bought it 3 days ago. It had less than 200 miles on the odometer. Stolen, I whispered. Someone stole my truck. Then, I remembered the letter. Yesterday evening, I had found a certified letter taped to my front door. It was from the Homeowners Association. Specifically, it was from Jake, the HOA president. Violation notice, unauthorized commercial vehicle / eyesore. Description, blue pickup truck. Remedy, remove vehicle from driveway immediately or park inside garage. Failure to comply within 24 hours will result in towing at owner's expense. I had laughed at it. I crumpled it up and threw it on the counter. My truck wasn't a commercial vehicle. It didn't have logos. It was a personal vehicle. And the bylaws clearly stated that personal vehicles could be parked in driveways as long as they weren't in a state of disrepair. My truck was pristine. It still had the new car smell. But Jake didn't care about bylaws. He cared about power. Jake was a man who patrolled the neighborhood with a clipboard and a scowl, measuring grass height with a ruler and fining people for leaving their holiday lights up until January 4th. He hated trucks. He called them low class. I looked across the street. Jake's house was dark. His perfectly manicured lawn looked smug in the morning light. I ran back inside. I grabbed my phone. I opened the Ring app. I scrolled back. Midnight. Nothing. 1 a.m. Nothing. 2 a.m. Nothing. 3:02 a.m. Motion detected at driveway. I tapped the video. The footage was grainy at first, illuminated only by the streetlights. A massive, dark shape backed into my driveway. A tow truck. Not a reputable one with logos and lights. A beat-up, unmarked wrecker that looked like it belonged in a scrapyard. And there, standing at the end of my driveway, directing the driver with hand signals, was a figure in a bathrobe and slippers. It was Jake. I zoomed in. I could see his face clearly in the glow of the tow truck's reverse lights. He was smiling. He was pointing at my truck. The driver hopped out. He was a big guy, wearing a hoodie. He looked nervous. He walked up to Jake. The camera's microphone picked up their voices clearly in the silent night. You sure this is legal, man? The driver asked, looking at my house. That's private property. He's got cameras. I'm the president. Jake scoffed, waving a hand dismissively. I run this neighborhood. It's a violation. Just hook it and book it. I'll handle the paperwork. Alright, the driver shrugged. But if the cops come, this is on you. The cops work for me. Jake lied. Just get that monstrosity out of here. I watched, horrified, as the driver hooked chains to the rear axle of my truck. He didn't use dollies. He didn't put it on a flatbed. He just hooked it and dragged it. My truck is all-wheel drive. You cannot tow an AWD vehicle with 2 wheels on the ground. It destroys the transmission. It shreds the transfer case. I heard the sickening scrach of tires dragging across asphalt as they pulled it out of the driveway. My truck bounced violently over the curb. Jake watched it go. He looked satisfied. He looked like a king surveying his kingdom. Then, he did something else. He walked up the driveway. He walked right up to where the driver's door had been. He bent down. He picked something up off the ground. It was my gate remote. I kept it clipped to the visor, but sometimes it fell. It must have fallen out when they jerked the truck. Jake looked at it. He looked around. Then, he slipped it into his bathrobe pocket. He stole my remote. He entered my property, facilitated the theft of my vehicle, and then stole a device that gave him access to my backyard. What happens next isn't just a police report. It is the collision of a petty tyrant's ego with the unyielding wall of criminal law. By the time the sun fully rises, Jake isn't going to be the president of anything. He's going to be inmate number 4922. Kindly follow on screen instructions for full video.